So first I'm going to go ahead and put the thread on an empty spindle. This is spindle 1. It's important to note your numbering here goes 1, 2, 3, 4, which is the opposite of how you would normally read. So just keep that in mind. Then we want to take our little spindle hat and put that on top. That will help our thread to not get tangled. Then taking our thread, we're going to pass it through this hole. Now there are a lot of holes that we're going to go through as we thread this machine, so don't get discouraged, just keep pressing forward and do your best. If you have a mistake, then your thread will probably break, but that's not the end of the world. You can always rethread the machine. So then coming up through this hole, we're going to go under this little plate and around this pin here. Then we need to come down. So then we're going to pass through this hole right here. This is the pre-tension disc, and we need to pass through that hole. Pick up our thread here, and then we're going to come around. You want to hold both sides here so that you can get underneath the disc, and then come around the pin. Now, the needles 1 and 2, you're going to go clockwise around the disc. Needles 3 and 4, you go counterclockwise around the disc. Then we need to take this lever here and push it to turn off the tension. So that's opened up discs right here so that the thread can go down between the tension discs and it can hold the tension on the thread. So we're just going to come down through there. Then we're going to come down through the hole here on this plate. There are a bunch of holes on this plate, so make sure you keep them straight. You're going through the small one that's assigned to the needle. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We're all going to needle 1. So we're going to go through the small one for needle 1. Coming down through there, there is a spring here that we need to pass through. It's got to go through that little circle on the spring. With the thread through the spring, you want to make sure that your thread is going to go around both of these bars here. And you're going to pass back up through the first big hole in your set. So we came down through the small, we're going to go up through the big. Then up to this arm. Now you can see my thread has gotten caught around the arm, so I just going to pull that out and fix that like that. Okay? And now we're going to go through this little pink hole on the arm. Passing through there. We then get to come back down through the second big hole in our set. That's the last hole in this plate for this thread. So we've come down through the spring, up through the arm, and then back down. There are little guides on the machine. They're a little difficult to see because they're white on white, but those can help guide you. Then we're going to make sure that we go through the proper hole on this plate down here. This is number 1. Going to go through the hole there, like so. And now this part is easier if the light is on down here, so I'm just going to tap the screen to wake it up again. And with the light on, it's going to be easier to see what we're doing. Around the needle, there is a little hook, and we want to be inside of that hook. So I'm going to take the thread. This is always the most difficult part for me. So with that going through there, we're now ready to thread the needle. You want to come over to your little drawers here, open up the green one, and get out your needle threader. On the needle threader, there's a little arrow. That's going to point towards the machine. And you want to take your thread through this crosshair, perpendicular to that arrow. Then set the crosshair against the needle bar, slide down and push through. With the thread pushed through, you can go ahead and grab it and pull back the threader. And then you just got to get that thread to come through. Sometimes I like to hook it with the edge of the threader here and just pull it through like that. Then take the thread and you need to pass through the foot. So there's a hole in the top of the foot there, and you're going to pass through that. Then take your thread and pull it up to the spring that runs across here. That's just to hold it in place until it gets cut later. And congratulations, you have now successfully threaded the machine.